Hello, hi, and welcome to our June garden tour. We got some great things blooming that will be in bouquets this month, like this lovely summer berries yarrow, or this is one of the pastels, but it's a berry color. We have feverfew that is about to bloom. We got some nice status. Now this is just the more cottagey fun area, not the production beds, which we'll go through. This side is not as robust as this side. I am unsure why. Have no idea. We got some sea holly or rhingium. I have 3 of those that I planted just a week or so ago. They like poor soil, so sometimes this soil up here is a little weird, so I planted it here. We have some Magus. I only had 2 plants that survived. They got these really cool umbels. A lot of people use them in cut flowers. I'm just using it as something cool and feathery in front of our smart fountain that I have from Flower and Hearth, which I love. It's like my favorite fountain that I can use to make really cool elements. But I love this. This is like one of my favorite areas of the farm. We got more yarrow over here. A lot of the gladiolas that have made themselves perennial are coming up. Liatris is now starting to come up, and I do Liatris primarily just for the bees. That is starting to come up. We have Lisianthus is really taken on a lot of height. You're starting to see some blooms. A few of these in the back are ones that I actually grew from seed. Those were the ones I trialed doing. We got tomatoes growing in this trellis. This is Berry's Crazy Cherry, and I can't remember what that one is. I have a marigold paired with it just for pest control. We do have aphids kind of heavily right now, so I've been trying to control those. This year, don't have a bad issue with pigweed beetle, which I did last year on amaranth, but seems to be okay. I'm a little confused by this amaranth because I'm pretty confident that I pinched it, but it's got a very large stalk, so I don't know. But these beds, I have amaranth and marigold. This one has pepper because I just had extra. A lot of gladiolas flanking different areas. I do have some eucalyptus back here, trying it out in this area. And then this is a eucalyptus as well. That is one that I grew from seed. Not the best, but it is what it is. The lavenders that I grew from seed are still, they're growing. They're just not as big as, usable. And then we kind of have a duplicate over here. These are cut flower marigolds. And I've been using Gardeners has a super hoops, so I've been using them as actually supports for flowers for like the last 2 years. So I'm using them in these areas in particular. This is our birdhouse gourd, which you can see we have pollination happening. So it's the start of a gourd. I'm very, very excited about that. Last year we had loofah here, but this is doing quite well. And then this is one of our multiple areas of celosia, and this is pastels, Texas plume. We also got some perennial phlox in here as well that I use mostly for decoration. I don't really cut on the perennial phlox, but I'm very excited for these. When I was a little kid, I used to pet the celosia that my mom had in the garden because it's soft and feathery and I really like it. Okay, so berries are doing well. Blueberries, we've been picking off those for the last couple of weeks. You can see phlox is doing really well back there. So fragrant, so yummy. We got a lot of really nice rudbeckia. I've had to treat the rudbeckia. I don't know if this one has it. I think the one up in the front garden does. But the rudbeckia has been getting attacked by aphids. I love Rebecca leaves because they're fuzzy. We have a viola still left here. And then straw flowers are just starting to come up. I will let this bloom initially, and then it'll get cut down and it'll do branching and all of that. I didn't need to support them last year, so we're gonna see if I need to do support stuff this year. But you can see all the blueberries, and these blueberries are more like wild blueberry size. Back there, that blueberry is more of like what people think of like grocery store blueberries. And blueberries, you want to make sure that you have multiple and that they're different varieties, so pollination and stuff can happen. And we just got some celosia in between some annual plants. These are super bells, something punch, I can't remember, but I love Proven Winners super bells, and their super tunia bubblegum vista is one of my faves. We got cherry caramel phlox, and then oh gosh, I can't remember what this one is, but it's a mix that I really like, and they smell so good. And I actually got really long stems this year, so whatever I did this year, yippee. Up here, our peas are doing really well. I've actually paired peas with some peppers, some cucumbers, and there's another cucumber in there. And this is the best my cucumbers have ever looked as far as maintaining greenery, is when I've interplanted them with other things. This one I need to get another clip and clip it up. But I'm getting peas. This is like the size of my head, and they're delicious. But they've done very well back here. So, well, we're hoping that they keep doing well. We got Gumfrina coming in back here. We got Status up front. This is one of my favorite dried and filler flowers. We got Frosted Explosion, which is an ornamental grass, going within here, right here. And then this is Bunny Tails grass. So that's like a grass that produces a little poof. It looks like a bunny tail. We got some purple peas. Everything's looking good. Here, we got Canterbury bells that are still producing and looking great. These I started growing back in July of 2022. I was testing out green dragon cress, and I love it, so we'll continue to grow that. My cress was a little bit of a failure this year, so I don't have a lot other than what I was testing. Normally I like this, which is Persian cress, and it's so gorgeous in bouquets, but it didn't do very well. I think the quick heat really screwed things up. So I'm gonna try and see if I can find some shady spots that it can maybe be okay. That's why I interplanted it with the Canterbury bells, because it provided it a little bit of shade that the extreme heat was not helping. Had a few more Canterbury bells along here. This is the tail end of the early spring snapdragons, the Chantilly and Costa. I now have some of the more heat-loving or heat-tolerant, like Apple Blossom, Potomac series, Madame Butterfly. Well, Madame Butterfly can be okay in most of the seasons, but they're in here. They're tiny, but they'll turn into something. I'm very excited for the Scabiosa. Apparently a lot of it was white. I did Merlot. I did two that were specific, Sangria and Merlot, and then I did a mix. And it seems like the mix had mostly whites in it that came out, what ended up being planted by me. So that's okay. But I got these really pretty purples. So I will be buying individual Scabiosa seeds from now on, pincushion flowers. This is the Nigella all in seed pods, which I believe in the last video you would have seen it started forming the flowers. This is one of the flowers that are smaller branching, and I need to do a big cut of these before they fully go to seed. So these are going to be great for fresh and dried flowers. And then our big status crop, which is up front along the road, we got apricot, we got blue, we have silver, which is basically white, and then I think purple somewhere in here, but I think it's just mostly apricot, blue, and white. I've needed to cover sunflower starts because the birds and groundhogs and everything have just been bananas. So did that. Our sunflowers are looking really good. They've had a lot of ants on them, which they're following the sap from, I believe, some aphids action, but they've also had a lot of ladybugs on them, so that's good too. Got some nasturtium in here. I got some calendula happening there. Maybe make some salve. And then these are my heat lovers, celosia, and these are summer sorbet, I think. They're Texas Plume. They're very, very pretty colors. I like this one a lot. I think I might have already said that when I showed you the other ones. I can't remember, but they're right. And then these might be the best looking zinnias I've grown in a number of years. Like, they look crisp like green lettuce. I always have problem with zinnias. It has to do with like moisture and stuff, and I think I figured it out last year. Is I basically plant them and don't water them. I let the sky water them. That's it. Very rarely do I do anything with water related to these zinnias, and they look great. I learned that last year. And this area is just a hodgepodge of mums and irises and things that were like left in the garden or moved. This is a work in progress area for sure. Don't mind if I do. Boop. These are all of them, except for one, are dahlias that overwintered. We just piled the compost on and the mulch, and when they've come up, I've snipped them so that they will branch and not have super thick stalks. This one is just more recently coming up, so I haven't pinch that for branching, but I'll come in here and do that. But all of these, that's why they're so very bushy, I'm looking really, really great. We got some Wizard of Oz in here, a variety of different colors and such. Our strawberries are basically done. They're June bearing in here. Oh, we have one that's ripe, or two that we're just kind of on the way out. So delish. And this is a lifesaver, because otherwise we wouldn't get any of these because the animals eat them all. We installed this new blackberry area at the end of the season last year so that we could better control the blackberries, and they are doing amazing. And they are already they bloomed, and you have to see the little fruits and stuff. Everything is coming in earlier than it did last year, and that is a testament to the change in our weather from this year. We have a loofah that is right here that I am working on getting it up this trellis, and hopefully will go along the deck. This last year, it was blooming earlier. Oh, I forgot, they sometimes close their flowers once it starts getting darker out. But last year it didn't bloom until so much later in the summer, and I saw a bloom today, so fingers crossed. And this is just some ever-bearing strawberries that I put around this bed, which I love, these metal beds. I will eventually probably change out a lot of our wooden ones to the metal beds. Now, along the deck area, I do have some hitting lavender that I grew from seed, but we have some yarrow, and a lot of this is some mammoth mums, and they're in different colors. I'm very excited about those. They provide like really nice color for going along here. We got our little planters with some stuff. And then this is basically the rudbeckia area. One went kaput, so I put the other eucalyptus there, and they will grow out along here. I will actually put branching sunflowers in between. I just need to start some of those. This is probably the best lavender that I've grown and is the largest one. We got some thyme up here, and then these hanging baskets, which are some of my favorites. Proven winter stuff, and they will hang over and be really gorgeous throughout the summer. We have a family of groundhogs that are chomping on everything, and they even decided to chomp on mums, which they don't really do that. And more yarrow over here. I wasn't expecting this mum to get this big, but here we are. And some parsley. I made this area over here, once it's finished with daffodils, it's status. Pretty much everything's growing well. The middle one was struggling a little bit and has just recently started producing. But I'm gonna fill in with some more stuff as well. And then here's another eucalyptus. Everything I planted in this green stock did not happen. I planted beans, and I think creatures stole them all. And we have some feverfew along here, and you can see it's significantly smaller than the feverfew up front. I have no idea why. It gets full sun. So out of the 100 bread seed poppy seeds that I threw all along this bed, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 that are actually, oh, there's 2 next to each other, that are actually going to turn into full plants as long as they don't get taken out. And you see here, I'm not going to use these as cut flowers because they don't really last like that, but I will, hopefully, if I can make it happen, they turn in their seed pods. I'm hoping that I can use those in dried arrangements, but they're looking good. The dahlias that are in here overwintered, but they keep getting eaten by the groundhog. So this is grown and gotten eaten back, and grown and gotten eaten back. It's crazy. There's some frosted explosion in here. The back gardens are definitely more of like my test area for a lot of things. And then also succession sowing. We have craspedia that's doing really well, although something has been picking the little balls off of the top of some of them, so I don't know what the deal is with that. But they look pretty good, and we'll probably use these for dried stuff. I had a whole trellis full of really good looking cucumbers back here, and decimated. The peppers are okay, but the cucumbers decimated. Everything back here gets taken out by birds or groundhogs. Like the extra marigolds, decimated. So that's where we are. Back here, the fountain is just bird central, and there's like a turf war happening. I can't keep it clean enough. I clean it like every other day. Because of the way that they play, they're destroying this perennial phlox a lot quicker than it should be. But we do have this lavender plant. It comes back every year. It's looking really good. The bees love our yard because we got a lot of stuff. These are gladiolas, back for another year. I know a lot of folks are really excited about that. I also had thrown in some cress in here, which the groundhogs really like. So likely won't get any of the cress out of here, but I wasn't confident that this soil was good enough, but it grew the cress, so I'm okay with that. These are more strawberries, ever-bearing ones that kind of are just subject to wild animals / Lillian. I threw a cucumber in there just because I had an extra one, and it seems like it's not getting attacked, so I don't know. And then this is our tomato wall, which has been attacked. And I'm not pruning, I'm not doing whatever, cutting off side shoots, because I don't know what I'm going to get. So I'm just gonna let them do their thing and figuring out as it goes along. But the marigolds that I had in front, they have been chomped down. Yeah, the basil is the only thing that hasn't been chomped down, thank goodness, or the pepper. They don't like that. But this basil definitely has been chomped down. Part of it is because I did use some of it for lemonade, but they have definitely attacked that. This is a tomato plant that's not going to have anything happen to it because it's a dwarf tomato plant, and it was beheaded where it would flower. So it's just kind of there hanging out. This is the only cucumber that in the back that is kind of surviving. I'm not sure if it's because I have these things hanging up here or not, but it's doing well. Our garlic, we harvested scapes. I'm now just waiting for its next set of leaves to kind of die out, and then it's likely going to be ready to harvest, I think, within the next week or two. Peppers back here doing okay. I've been trying to get them to green up. I don't know. I need to figure out what's going on. Maybe put some more compost down. Not sure, but I'll figure it out. These were really lush and gorgeous potato plants, and these have been decimated by the groundhogs. Family of 5, party of 5, if you will. So I don't know that we're going to get all the different really cool varieties of potatoes that we planted, but nature. And then more garlic. I started to plant this bed back here, however, it keeps getting attacked, so I've stopped succession planting back here until we can rehome the groundhogs, because they are eating everything except for the basil and maybe some of the ornamental grass. I saw one sitting on its hind legs and nibbling on that amaranth yesterday morning. The onions are doing okay, I think. I think the onions and the green stalks are better than the ones I have planted in bed, but that was a test for me this year. The groundhogs have not gotten these yet, but I saw one of them tussling around with it and I scared it away. Luckily I was home, so I don't know how long they will be around. This is cardinal basil, which is looking okay. It has been chomped at the top, so it takes a while for cardinal basil to flower in comparison to cinnamon and lemon basil. So I do need to do a really big succession, which a lot of that I believe we're going to put back here, or I'm going to put back here, because that seems to be really the only thing that I could do back here. And this was leftover celosia, and this is where I put it back here. And they also keep eating this straw flower. So the straw flower up front that you saw was a good 2.5 feet tall. This has not gotten any taller than that because they just keep getting chopped back down. And then these tomato plants are not as badly chomped, but I don't know that they're gonna flower either. And then we have potatoes, and then daylilies are over here among where our rain barrel is. We have some peonies in here, second year peonies along here, which does actually get sun, and then some more gladiolas, and that's pretty much hostas. And then we do have some hellebores along here. This area is kind of still a work in progress, but it's not too bad. It's just not where I was really hoping the back would be. Have some peppers here. They've even eaten like the perennial rudbeckia, which they don't normally do, so I don't know. Super Tunia Bubblegum Vista. I like having them hanging on the deck. The lilac was gorgeous this year. It was very robust and very delicious. I made lilac lemonade. You just soak it in some lemonade, and it's delish. We have another tomato plant here, and this is one of the little mini trellises that I use. I'm not sure why this is folding. I want to say that maybe a bird probably got to it. Oh gosh. I'm very, very happy about these tomato plants along the deck. Did have a lot of aphid issues. I've been treating that. But these are pots that I got from gardeners. And these are dwarf tomato plants. And they are doing quite well up here. We do have rosemary in this one, green stalk, which I will be putting more things in. I did have beets. And then we have just 2 more of these up here. And then this is kind of where I am doing all of my seed starting, which does involve, things coming and attacking. But I do my seed starting outdoors in the summer instead of indoors, because I can do that on my deck, and why not? So I have a second succession of pincushion flowers. Status, I'm just trying it out this year. It's not typically on people's lists as a second succession, but I'm doing it. These are some more dwarf Tiny Tim tomatoes, right? Tiny Tim, I think. They will likely be going in the green stalk, / I'll probably put some in my neighbor's yard. And what were these? These are zinnias. And sunflowers I do every 1 to 2 weeks anyways. Genovese basil and more cucumbers. The cucumbers are going to go up front because they're not under attack up front. And I need to seed a whole slew of stuff tomorrow. I need to put everything on the rack. And that is it, folks. We are at the end. Hope you're all doing well. And if you need a bouquet and you live near College Park, Maryland, check out Little Walter's Flower Farm. Bye.